여러분 안녕하세요. Hi everyone. This will be our last class of passive verb session. Welcome to class, guys. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'll give you guys some moment, some time to come in. And when enough people are here, I think then we can start the class. Oh, Tony 씨, you can hear me. Tony 씨, 안녕하세요. 또 와주셔서 감사합니다. 예린님 오늘도 와주셨네요. Thank you for joining, guys. 비잉 씨 또 오셨다. 안녕하세요. 여러분, it's so good to see, a lot of familiar usernames. That means you guys are keeping up with your studying, so that's good. 그리고 I also see 빌리아나님 and 탈리아님 그리고 우메르 칸님 가장 좋아하는 선생님이 되어주셔서 감사합니다. Thank you for such a sweet message. Hello, Simon. 여러분 모두 안녕하세요. 오케이. 조금만 더 기다려 볼게요. Let me give you guys more time. And then I think we can start the class. So we are going to learn 22 words. You can check the word list that we'll cover today in the link in the description box. And better method would be for you to print it out to class and actually write on it while you're taking this class. And we're also going to do a bit of a quiz that consists of 27 questions. And at the end of the session, if time allows, I think we could do a bit of a Quizlet review. So I hope we have enough time to do all of that. So let's see, guys. 일단은 오늘 그러면 let's start from 아어지다. Verb 아어지다. The verbs that can be turned into a passive form by adding 아어지다. So basically you conjugate a verb in present tense and add 지다. So let's look at what kinds of verbs there are that belong to this group. Okay, so 정하다. The first one is 정하다. 정하다 can mean to decide and to set. So you can 날짜를, let me make it bigger. 날짜를 정할 수 있죠. You can 날짜를 정하다, to decide a date, to set a date. You can also set 가격, 가격을 정하다, set a price. And you can also set 규칙, 규칙을 정할 수 있죠. rule을 정할 수 있고. And you can also set a menu. So here, when you say 메뉴를 정하다, it would mean to decide a menu, as in to choose a menu. So 정하다 can also mean choose. And when you're choosing something to indicate that this noun is your choice, you can also add 으로 particle. So to choose a menu as something. 그렇게 말할 수가 있어요. 그래서 if you want to say 저는 오늘 저녁 메뉴, today's dinner 메뉴를 김치찌개, 김치 스튜, 김치찌개로, 김치찌개 is your choice, so you can mark it with the particle 로 정했어요. You can say it like this. 정했어요. And to make them into a passive form, 정하다 would become 정해. You first conjugate it in present tense, right? And then 치다. So 정해치다 would be 정하다's passive form. And 날짜를 정하다, to set a date, to decide a date's passive voice form would be 날짜가 정해지다, right? 정해지다. 날짜가 정해지다. 날짜 is decided. 날짜 is set. And 가격을 정하다. For passive tense, this would be 가격이 정해지다. For the price to be set. And 규칙을 정하다, to set a rule. And if you want to say the rule to be set, the rule is set. 규칙이 정해지다. 그리고 메뉴를 noun으로 정하다 and to change it into a passive voice form, you can simply change menu into a subject. So menu is decided as a noun. 메뉴가 your choice로 정해지다. 이렇게 쓸 수 있어요. 그래서 정하다. And 정하다 is not a combination of 정 as a noun plus 하다. So this doesn't belong to noun plus 하다 group, guys. 정하다 is just one word on its own. 정하다, to decide, to set. The next one is 켜다 and 끄다. 켜다, to turn on, and 끄다, to turn off. 그래서 you can 불을 켜다. You can turn on the light. 불 can also mean fire, but it also means light. So 불을 켜다, to turn on the fire, and 불을 끄다, to turn off the fire. And you can also turn on 핸드폰, which is cell phone. And you can also turn on other electronic devices like 에어컨. 요즘 더워요. These days it's getting hot in Korea, so you can turn on 에어컨. 에어컨을 켜요. 에어컨, air conditioner. 에어컨, air conditioner. Or you can also turn on something like 전자레인지, which means microwave. So 켜다, 끄다 can be used for electronic devices, and it can also be used for power. 전원을 켜다, 끄다 말할 수 있어요. 그래서 켜다 and 끄다's passive form respectively would be 켜지다. 아, 고양이 소리 들려요? 아, 그렇구나. My cat is scared of air conditioner and I have it on right now. 지금 에어컨이 켜져 있어요. 에어컨이 켜져 있는데 제 고양이가 에어컨 소리, air conditioner sound 너무 싫어해서 지금 울고 있는데 여러분 잠깐만요. 제가 에어컨을 끄고 올게요. Wow, what a timing, guys. What a timing. 에어컨을 끄고 올게요. 에어컨 끄고 올게요. 잠시만 기다려주세요. Let me go 끄다. Turn off the air conditioner. 잠깐만요. There it is. Okay, guys, thank you for waiting. Without the air conditioner on, I think I'll get super hot, but let's see. 탈리아님, 컴퓨터를 켜다라고 말해도 돼요. 컴퓨터를 켜다, 좋아요. 어쨌든 켜다's passive form would become 켜지다. 켜다's present tense is just 켜, right? So 켜 plus 치다. And then 끄다 would become 꺼지다. So 켜지다, to be turned on. And 꺼지다, to be turned off가 되겠네요. 그 다음에 그래서 불을 켜다, 불을 끄다. Its passive form would become 불이 for light, to be turned on. 불이 켜지다, for turned off. 꺼지다. 그리고 핸드폰, as for 핸드폰을 켜다, the passive voice sentence would be 핸드폰이 켜지다 and 꺼지다. And for 전원 as well, 전원이 켜지다, 꺼지다. 똑같아요. 그래서 켜다, 켜지다, 끄다, 꺼지다. To turn on, to be turned on, to turn off, to be turned off. Okay, 그 다음에 let's move on to our third verb, 깨다. So 깨다 means to break something, but it's not breaking just anything, but something that shatters into pieces. So something like glasses or window. Those things, when they're broken, they shatter into pieces, right? So for those breaking, you can say 깨다. So you cannot 깨다 a zipper, for example, right? But only glasses or windows. So 창문을 깨다, 컵을 깨다, to break a window, to break a glass. 이렇게 말할 수 있겠죠? 그래서 깨다's passive form would be 깨다's present tense plus 치다, 깨지다, 깨지다, to be broken, to be shattered into pieces. 그래서 창문을 깨다, to break a window's passive form would be 창문이 깨지다. 그 다음에 cup as well, for cup as well. 컵을 깨다. Cup is broken. 컵이 깨지다 라고 할 수 있어요. Okay. 그 다음에 and 깨다 can also be used for something like 약속, your plan with somebody or your promise, and 규칙. 그래서 요 약속 has two meanings. The first one is promise and the second one is plan. But it's not just any plan, guys. 약속 can be used for plan, as in plan with your friends for a casual meetup. So, for example, if you have a plan to go traveling, that's not 약속. That's not 약속. Scheduled to go traveling is not 약속. It's more of your 일정, 계획. That's more of your plan, as in 계획. And 약속 can only be used for a plan, for a casual meetup with someone else, someone that you're close with, usually. 그래서 you can break, as in call off a plan with your friends, or you can also break a promise, 약속을 깨다. 그 다음에 규칙을 깨다 would mean to break the rule. So not follow the rule, to break the rule. 미안해요. 그렇게 될 수 있고, 그래서 for a plan to be called off, you can say 약속이 깨지다. 약속이 깨지다. Or for a promise to be broken, you can also use 약속이 깨지다. 그리고 규칙을 깨다, to break a rule, and for a rule to be broken, you can say 규칙이 깨지다. 규칙이 깨지다 라고 말을 할 수가 있어요. 그 다음에 4번 볼게요. 4번 이루다, 이루다, 이루다. So it means to realize something, as in make something come true. 이루다, 이루다. So you can 꿈을 이루다. 꿈 is the most common noun that go with 이루다. So it means to make your dream, 꿈, come true. 꿈을 이루다, 꿈을 이루다. 그래서 your dream comes true in Korean would be 꿈은 이루어진다. 아이고. 꿈은 이루어진다. 이렇게 말할 수 있어요. Dream comes true. 꿈은 이루어진다. 아직 아워지다 안 했구나. Forget what I said, guys. We're getting there. 다음에 소원. You can also realize your wish, right? 그 다음에 for 이루다, to become a passive form, you can change 이루다 into its present tense and say 이뤄지다. 아이고. 그러니까 이게요, 사실 이루어지다예요. 이루어지다. But 이루어 can be abbreviated to 이뤄. So 이루어지다 or 이루어지다 괜찮아요. 둘 다 괜찮습니다. 일파님. Oh, thank you, 일파님, for the compliment. And you mean achieve. Achieve랑은 조금 달라요. It's a little bit different from achieve. So achieve, there's another word for achieve, which is 성취하다. 성취하다. But 이루다 is more for making something on your mind, like your imagination or dream or wish, come true. It doesn't necessarily mean to obtain something, like achieve something, but to realize something. 그래서 꿈을 이루다's passive form would be 꿈이 이루어지다. And 탈리아님, 모든 소원이 이루어지길 바랍니다. 감사합니다. 꿈이 이루어지다. For dream to come true. And 소원이 wish to come true. 이루어지다. 이렇게 쓸 수 있어요. Okay. 이루다. So that's 이루다. 이루다. Let's move on to the next one. 지키다. 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 지키다 means to observe as in to abide by. Observe as in not looking but in observing the law. That kind of observe. 지키다 means to observe, to abide by. So you can observe, like abide by a promise. So this would be to keep a promise. 약속을 지키다. 약속을 지키다. When 약속 is used with 지키다, 약속 would mean promise, not plan, but promise. 김아홀리님, 괜찮아요. 늦어도 괜찮아요. You can join whenever you have time. No worries. 그다음에 미안해요. My cat just spilled some water on my keyboard. I hope it's fine. Alright, 그다음에 법을 지키다. You can also observe the law. 법, abide by the law. So 법을 지키다, to abide by the law. And 지키다's passive tense would be, not passive tense, the passive form would be 지켜지다. 지켜지다. So 약속을 지키다, to keep a promise. Passive voice would be promise is kept, for promise to be kept. So you can say 약속이 지켜지다. 그 다음에 법이, for law to be 지켜지다, for law to be observed, abided by. 그런 뜻이 돼요. 그래서 so far we learned around six words that belong to 지다 group. 정하다, 정해지다. 켜다, to turn on, 켜지다. 끄다, 꺼지다. 깨다, 깨지다. To break, to be broken. 이루다, to realize something, make something come true. And 이루어지다, to be made come true. And 지키다, observe. And 지켜지다, to be observed. So 사람들은 약속을 지켜야 돼요. Okay, perfect sentence. 이거 스크린에 띄워드릴게요. 탈리아님 said, 사람들은 약속을 지켜야 돼요. People should keep their promises. Okay, this is a great sentence. 그 다음 거 넘어갈게요. Moving on to the next part. So we're at intransitive verbs that end in 치다. So the words that belong to this group has a form that resembles verb-아, 치다, but they're actually not. They don't stem from any other transitive verb. They are independent intransitive verb on their own. They don't come from any other verb, but they're independent verb on their own. It's just that because they end in 치다, it looks like they are verb-아, 치다 passive verb, but they're not. They're not. 그다음에, so let's see what verbs there are that belong to that group. The first one is 떨어지다. 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 떨어지다 means for something to fall down or drop. So, something like water, 물, or 빗방울, raindrops can 떨어지다. For raindrops to drop, to fall down. 그 다음에 intransitive, 일반님께서 intransitive verb가 뭐냐고 물어보셨는데 intransitive verbs are the verb that cannot have an object and an independent verb on their own. So they just need a subject. A subject does a subject do. Like I sleep. Sleep doesn't require an object, right? You cannot sleep something. So those kinds of verbs are called intransitive verbs, 일반님. 그래서 아무튼 떨어지다, 빗방울이 떨어지다, for raindrops to drop. And it can also be used for numerical values, numbers, like your score, 점수, or 성적, grade. 그래서 점수가 떨어지다, your score goes down. Your score drops, so it means it goes down. 그 다음에 성적, your grade goes down. Your grade is getting worse. 성적이 떨어지고 있어요. 라고 말하고 있어요. 그래서 샬루님이 빗방울이 떨어지고 있습니다. Raindrop is falling. 그렇죠? 그 다음에 탈리아님이 슬픈 드라마를 보면 눈물이 떨어져요. 떨어져요. Since you're using 면 means if. So you are describing a situation that's general, right? So if you watch said drama, 눈물이 떨어져요. Teardrops. So here you should be using present tense. 눈물이 떨어졌어요 라고 해주시면 맞습니다. 눈물이 떨어졌어요. Sorry. 눈물이 떨어져요. But this is a great sentence. 눈물이 떨어져요. 그 다음에 시험에 잠깐만요. Here I brought 오르다 as well. 오르다 for antonym of 떨어지다. 오르다 means for something to go up, to rise. And it's also an intransitive verb. So to go up, to rise. 그래서 if you say 점수가 오르다, it means for your score to go up. 성적이 오르다, for your grade to improve, to get better. 그런 뜻이에요. 오르다. 그 다음에 떨어지다 can also be used when you fail the test. So when you say 시험 means exam. 시험에 떨어지다, it means you fall on the exam. You fall on the exam. So it sounds like a negative thing, right? You didn't pass the test. You fall on the test. So 시험에 떨어지다, you don't pass the test. And its antonym word would be 붙다. 붙다 is also an intransitive verb, guys. Intransitive verb, which means to stick to something, to get attached to something. 붙다. And when you say 시험에 붙다, it means you get attached to a test, so you pass the test. 라는 뜻이 있어요. So 시험에 떨어지다, to fail the test. 시험에 붙다, to pass the test. 이렇게 됩니다. 그 다음에 면접에 떨어지다. 면접에 떨어지다. 면접 means interview. So when you fail an interview, you can also say 떨어지다. 면접에 떨어졌어요. I failed the exam. I failed the interview. 면접에 떨어졌어요. 면접. This 면 means like surface or face. So it's a test that you do, it's a test that you do face to face. So it's 면접, interview. 그리고 you can also say 사람, a person, 떨어지다. Person falls. And in this case, it doesn't mean to trip. Trip 아니고, it means to fall from somewhere higher than the ground. So you were maybe like you were on a tree and then you fell. In this case, you can say, 떨어졌어요. I fell down. 떨어졌어요. But this does not mean you tripped while walking. 그래서 사람 can also 떨어지다. 그 다음에 if you're wondering how to say my skill, as in your language skill or your specific skill on certain areas, and you want to say your skill is getting better, your skill is improving, and your skill is getting rusty, you can use 늘다 and 줄다 intransitive verb. So 떨어지다 is very rarely used with your skill. You cannot describe your 실력이 떨어지다. Okay, 실력이 떨어지다. 괜찮긴 해요. It does sound okay, but a more natural and a more commonly used verb for your skill to get rusty, for your skill to decrease is 줄다. 그래서 so 실력 means skill. 실력. 그래서 실력이 줄다 means for your skill to decrease, to get rusty. And the antonym of 줄다 would be 늘다, which means to improve or for figures, numbers to increase. So 실력이 늘다 for your skill to improve. 그래서 if you want to say my Korean is getting better, my Korean is improving, you can say 한국어 실력, my Korean skill 한국어 실력이 늘고 있어요. You can use it with present progressive. 실력이 늘고 있어요. And if you want to say your Korean is getting rusty, you can say 한국어 실력이 줄고 있어요. 줄고 있어요. But I hope that everyone here in this class belongs to this group. 한국어 실력이 늘고 있는 사람이었으면 좋겠어요, 여러분이. 그 다음에 next one is 넘어지다. 넘어지다. So this 넘어지다 means to fall as in to trip over. To trip over while you're walking or running. In that case, you can use 넘어지다. 넘어지다. So 떨어지다 means to fall. 넘어지다 means to trip over. So the most common context it can be used is 걷다가 넘어지다. 걷다가 넘어지다. So if you say verb 다가 in the next clause, the implication is that while you were doing verb, the next thing happened, so you had to stop the verb. And that's what 다가 indicates. And usually in English, it's translated as while. So while I was walking, 걷다가 넘어졌어요. 넘어졌어요. I tripped over. 넘어졌어요. I tripped over. 넘어지다. In this case, you cannot use 떨어지다, right? Unless you actually fell from somewhere higher than the ground. But if you mean trip over, you can use 넘어지다. 핑님, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the donation, 핑님. Thank you every time. 핑님 너무 감사합니다. 핑님 화이팅! 우리 화이팅해요. Thank you for joining every single class from class number 1, the first passive verb class, to second one, and second -1, 3, and you finally made it to the final class. Thank you so much, 핑님. Love you. I love you too. 저도 사랑해요, 핑님. 감사합니다. Okay. 그래서 that's what 넘어지다 is. And let's move on to 터지다. 터지다 is also an intransitive verb that ends in 지다. And it means to burst, to explode, to pop. 여러분, try pronouncing 터지다. 터지다. 터. It sounds like something's popping, bursting, exploding. Like I'm exaggerating while I'm pronouncing, of course. But that would be an easy tip, I guess, a helpful tip to memorize 터지다, burst. 그래서 풍선, balloon can 터지다, 풍선이 터지다, the balloon to pop, 풍선이 터지다. And you can also use it for 웃음. 웃다 means to laugh, and 웃음 is a nominalized noun from 웃다, and it means laughter. So, 웃음이 터지다 would mean for laughter to be bursted out, so it would mean to burst out laughing. To burst out laughing. 그 다음에 울음. In the same way, 울음 means cry. And as you can guess, it comes from the verb 울다, which means to cry. So 울다 becomes 울음. It's nominalized noun for cry. So 울음이 터지다. I'm sure you guys know what this would mean. 울음이 터지다. To burst out, to burst into cry. To burst into a cry. To burst into a cry. 울음이 터지다. 웃음 smile 아니에요. 웃음 smile도 돼요. 맞아요. 웃다 actually has two meanings, to laugh or to smile. So 웃음 can also mean smile. 그렇죠. 네, 터지다, when 웃음 is used with 터지다, it means laughter. Because smile doesn't get bursted, right? It's only the laughter that gets bursted. 와 That's when you burst out into laughing, right? So 웃음이 터지다. 그 다음에 when it's used with your tummy, 배 means your tummy, your stomach. And what do you guys think 배가 터지다 would mean? 배가 터지다. Your tummy gets exploded. It means you're extremely full. Your stomach is bloated. You're very full. 배가 터지다. 배가 터질 것 같아요. My tummy is about to burst. 배가 터질 것 같아요. 너무 많이 먹었어요. I ate too much. You can say it like this. 그래서 배가 아주 부르다. 배가 부르다 means to be full, right? To be full. And 배가 아주 부르다 would mean to be very full. So you can use 배가 터지다 for that. To be very full. 배가 터지다. Okay, 그러면요. Before we move on to 하다's passive verb, guys. 하다's passive verb. Let's do a quick quiz. quiz 한번 해볼게요. quiz. Let's do quiz, halfway quiz. 그래서 먼저 해볼게요. 자, they're all based on the words that we learned so far. 일단 첫 번째 거 볼게요. 기말고사 날짜가 so 기말, 기 comes from 학기. 학기 means semester. And 말, 여러분 주말 알죠? 주말. You guys know 주말, right? 주말. 말 means 주말 means weekend. So 말 means end. So term means end of the term, end of the semester. 고사 means a test. So 기말고사 means at the end of the semester test. So it's a final test. 그래서 기말고사 and 날짜 means date. Like June 3rd, July 7th. That kind of date. You can say 날짜. 기말고사 날짜가 6월 12일, June 12th. And this 로 is marked when you are indicating that it's a choice, right? So 6월 10일 is a choice. So which verb would go with 6월 12일로? Is it set? 날짜가 정해졌어요. The 날짜 is set. It's decided. Or 날짜가 이루어졌어요. It came true. Or 지켜졌어요. It's abided by. It's observed. Or 떨어졌어요. It fell. Or it failed. 정답은 그렇죠, 여러분. 정해졌어요가 맞아요. 정해졌어요. 기말고사 날짜가 the final exam date is set. 정해졌어요. to June 12th. 그래서 1번이 되고요. 그 다음에 두 번째 봅시다. Please turn off your cell phone during class. 수업 중에는 during class 핸드폰을, cellphone을 blink 주세요. blink 주세요. So if you guys, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know this already. But 잠깐만요. Let me open a new page, a new blank page. Okay. So if you combine verb 주다 with 세요 ending, it means you're asking someone to please do verb, right? Please do verb. Please do verb. 그러면은 what would be the answer? This is a verb. This is a place for transitive verb, right? Transitive verb because you are turning off your phone. 핸드폰을, since it has an object, this is a place for transitive verb. This blank is a place for transitive verb. So you can choose either 켜 or 꺼. 켜 or 꺼. So you should be 꺼 because you're asking them to turn off. Turn off. 수업 중에는 핸드폰을 꺼주세요. 켜져 아니고 꺼져 아니에요. 꺼예요, 꺼. Turn off. And since it's a transitive verb, you have to use, since it's a place for transitive verb, since it has an object in the sentence, it should be transitive verb. 꺼다, 끄다. 꺼주세요. Please turn it off. Okay, next one. So it's asking you to figure out, this question is asking you to figure out whether a blank is a place for transitive verb or passive verb. Transitive verb or passive verb. So here, cup is the subject. Cup is blank. So, 새로운, new, cup. cup을 사다, buy, 야해요. I have to buy a new cup because the cup, 그렇죠. 옐리님, 깨져서예요. 깨져서. 깨져서. It should be used in passive form. The glass is broken. 그래서 깨져가 정답입니다. The cup is broken. 그 다음에 if you want to use 깨, you can say 컵을 깨서, right? 컵을 깨서, 컵을 깨서. But if you want to use the passive form, it should be 컵이 깨져서. 그 다음에 let's move on to the next one. 깨져서. I hope your dream comes true. 꿈이 blank으면 좋겠어요. So verb 아 썼으면 좋겠어. verb 아 썼으면 좋겠다 means you hope that verb happens. Or you hope that somebody verbs or verb happen. So here, I hope your dream comes true. 꿈이 is the subject, so the following verb should be a passive verb or intransitive verb, right? A passive verb or intransitive verb. So should it be 떨어지다, to fall, 넘어지다, to trip, 이루어지다, to come true, or 지켜지다, to be abided by. It should be the verb that goes well with 꿈, dream would be 이루어지다, right? 이루어지다. To come true. So 꿈이 이루어졌으면 좋겠어요. I hope your dream comes true. 그런 뜻이 됩니다. 오케이, 다음 거 볼게요. 왜 약속을 안 not blank? So why didn't you keep your promise? So this blank is a place for keep, right? Keep. And since in the sentence there is an object, this is a place, you can know that the blank is a place for transitive verb. So why didn't you keep your promise? Why didn't you keep your promise? 왜 약속을 안, 그렇죠. 지켰어요. 왜 약속을 안 지켰어요? It should be transitive verb, not its passive form, right? 지켰어요. 그리고 깨다 here, 깨다 means to break, right? So 약속을 깨다 means to break a promise, and 약속을 안 깨다 would be not break a promise. So in this context, it's not the right answer. The right answer is 지켰어. 왜 약속을 안 지켰어? 그 다음에 볼게요. 요즘 공부를 많이 안 했더니 성적이 많이 blank 됐대요. 일단은 so verb 아 썼더니 you can basically think of it as pretty much the same as verb 아, 서. So the speaker thinks that the previous clause, this verb, is the reason why the next thing happened. So 요즘 공부를 안 했더니 since I didn't study these days, I haven't been studying these days. 요즘 공부를 안 했더니 성적이 my grade 많이 그렇죠. 그렇죠. 떨어졌어요. 좋아요. 떨어졌어요. Your 성적, your grade fell down, as in it's getting worse, right? 그래서 떨어지다 means to fall, but it can also be used for numerical values like your score or your grade. 떨어졌어요. 그 다음에 다음 거 볼게요. 걷다가 바지가 찢어졌어요. 걷다가 바지가 찢어졌어요. So we learned 타가, right? I gave you a brief explanation on 타가. The implication is that you were doing verb, but the next thing happened and you have to stop the verb. So it's usually translated as while. So 걷다가 while I was walking, 서 something happened. So 바지가 찢어졌어요. So 찢어지다, 찢다 is a verb that was one of the word list that was on the word list of our previous class, the third class, right? So 찢어지다 means to get ripped, torn. My pants got torn because I blank while walking. 넘어져서죠. 그렇죠, 여러분. 넘어져서. I tripped over. So 바지가 찢어졌어요. 넘어져서. 좋아요. 그 다음에 next one. Let's move on to the next one. So it's about finding the antonym, the word with opposite meaning of the underlined word here. So 운전면허 시험에. So by looking at 시험, you can guess that it's some kind of exam. And 운전면허, 운전 means driving, 면허 means license. So it means driver's license test. 에 붙었어요. Do you guys remember what 붙었어요 mean? Specifically when it's used with 시험. 시험에 붙다 means to pass the test. You get attached to a test, so it means you pass the test. And its antonym, you fail the test, would be, 그렇죠 여러분? 잘하고 있어요. 떨어졌어요. 떨어졌어요 mean to fall, but it also means to fail the test. 떨어졌어요. 그래서 떨어졌어요 is the antonym of 붙었어요. 붙었어요. 오, 여러분 잘하고 계시는데요? Thank you very much for your active participation so far. Let's move on to the next one. This is also part of the verb that I briefly mentioned on our list. 매일, every day, 한국어 공부를 해서 I study Korean every day, so 실력이, we learn 실력, it means skill, and 잠깐만요. And 갈수록이요. This 갈수록 actually comes from verb 을수록 grammar, verb 을수록 blah. It means the more you verb, the more the next thing happens. But 갈수록 is a very common fixed what do you say? A fixed idiom? Idiom이라고 해야 되나? It's a very common word that is used to mean as time goes by. As time goes by. So this 가다 here, this 가다 indicates time going. So 갈수록 mean as time goes by. So my 실력, my skill, as time goes by, blink고 있어요. It is 그렇죠. 늘고 있어요. 저 늘고 있어요. Because when you study Korean every day, most likely your skill will improve, 늘다, not decrease, 줄다, right? So 늘고 있어요. 라고 하시면 됩니다. Next one. 그 농담이 너무 웃겨서 그 농담, joke, 농담 means joke. 농담이 너무 웃겨요. It's too funny. So, 웃음이, laughter, 웃음이, 빠하하하하. 웃음이, what is the verb that goes well with 웃음, guys? 웃음. Among these three choices. 터졌어요? 떨어졌어요? Or 넘어졌어요? 그렇죠, 여러분. 웃음이 터졌어요. Laughter bursted out. So you bursted out into laughing. Burst into laughter. 웃음이 터졌어요. 그 다음에 요거는 어때요, 여러분? 너무 많이 먹었대요. 너무 많이 먹어서 I ate too much. So 배, your stomach, your tummy, 배가 blank 것 같아요. 너무 많이 먹어서 할 것 같아요. I think my tummy will blink. So, which verb among these three goes well with 배? Especially when you eat too much. What would happen to your tummy when you eat too much? 그렇죠, 여러분. 터지다죠. 터지다. 배가 터지다. 배 doesn't get tripped over. 배 can explode figuratively, right? 배 can feel bloated. And 배 can feel 고프다. 배가 고프다. If you say 배가 고프다, it means you're hungry. 배가 고프다 means you're hungry. But here it says you ate too much. So it's impossible for you to be hungry when you ate that much. Your tummy should be extremely full. 터지다. 배가 터질 것 같아요. My tummy, I think, will explode. 그런 뜻이 됩니다. 오케이, 좋아요. 그 다음에 let's move on to our next set of words. set of words. So this time we are moving on to 하다's passive form. 하다's passive form. 하다 ending verbs passive form. 하다 ending. So usually 하다 ending verbs, what I mean by 하다 ending verbs are the ones that are the combination of noun plus 하다. Noun plus 하다. So for example, 취소하다 is a combination of the noun 취소, which means cancellation, and 하다, which means to do. So it literally means to do cancellation, so to cancel. So I'm referring to those kinds of verbs. So one way 하다 ending verbs can be turned into a passive form is by changing 하다 to 되다. So 취소하다, to cancel, this one's passive form would be 취소되다. 취소되다. And it would mean to be cancelled. To be cancelled. 라는 뜻이 되겠죠? 그래서 you can cancel 약속. When you say you 약속을 취소하다, that 약속 usually means a plan, not a promise, because we usually don't say to to cancel a promise would sound a little awkward. So usually it's a plan that you're canceling. So 약속을 취소하다. And 예약, you can also cancel 예약, which means reservation. Reservation. This 예 has to do with doing something in advance. In advance. Previously. 그 다음에 일정 means schedule. And 행사 means event. So 행사 can be something like concert, 콘서트, or 축제, festival. So you can cancel these things, right? 그래서 약속을 취소하다's passive form would be 약속이 취소되다. 약속이 취소되다. For your plan to get cancelled. 그다음에 for reservation to get cancelled, you can also say 예약이 취소되다. 그다음에 schedule is cancelled. 일정이 취소되다. 행사가 이벤트가 취소되다. or 콘서트가 취소되다. 축제가 취소되다. They all mean it's cancelled. 그다음에 샬루님, 오케이. 바빠서 약속을 취소할 거예요. 잘했어요. This is a really good sentence. I'm busy, so I will cancel my plan with my friend. 약속을 취소할 거예요. 약속 is a casual plan that you make with your friend. Okay, 그 다음에 잠깐만요. Let me delete this note. Okay, and next one. Here I forgot to tell you guys. 말을 취소하다. 취소하다 can also be used with 말. So 말 means words, right? What you say, your words. And you can also cancel your words. And in that case, it would mean to take back what you said. To take back what you said. 그래서 나 말 취소할게. 미안해. I take back what I said. 말을 취소할게요. 미안해요. I'm sorry. 이렇게 말할 수 있어요. 그다음에 핑님이 How do we conjugate 돼요? It follows the same conjugation rule for 되다. 여러분 되다's conjugation rule 알아요? Do you guys know the conjugation rule for 되다? Present tense is 돼. So you can also say 되어, but its contraction form is 돼, and this is used more commonly than 되어. 그다음에 the passive form would be 됐어요. And its present form, not present form, future form would be 될 거예요. So you can conjugate it like this, 핑님. The same conjugation rule applies for 되다 verb. 그다음에 so 취소하다 means to cancel. 취소되다 means to be cancelled. Moonstar님, 말 means words. Not word. 말 doesn't mean like vocabulary. 말 doesn't mean vocabulary, but your words, as in what you say. 말 means what someone says. Someone's speech, what someone talks, says. Words. 그런 뜻입니다. 말. So 말을 취소하다 would mean to take back your 말, to take back what you said, what you say, take back your words. 그 다음에 number 10 is 수정하다. 수정하다가 is 수정하다. And 수정하다, if you break down 한자 of this word, 수 means to fix and 정, this 한자 means right. So 수정하다 literally means to fix it and make it right. To fix it and make it right. So 수정하다 can also be replaced with 고치다 to mean the same thing. 수정하다 and 고치다. But 고치다, the other way around doesn't work. 고치다 isn't always replaced with 수정하다, which would mean 고치다 belongs to a larger category. It has a lot more meaning than 수정하다. So 수정하다 is for fixing usually what you wrote. So you can 수정하다 your 오타. 오타 means typo. So this 타 comes from 타자, which is typing. So this 타, and 오 is a 한자. It comes from 한자 that means wrong. So 오타 means typing wrong, so it's a typo. 오타. So you can 수정하다, 오타. You can 오타를 수정하다 because 오타 is something that you wrote. And 글 also, 글 can mean an article or a post, a written post. 그다음에 sorry. Oh my gosh, I forgot to. Oh no. Wait, not this. 미안해요, 여러분. I forgot to close the comment. Thank you so much, 샬루님. Thank you so much. 미안해요. 아무튼 typo, 오타, typo. And you can 수정하다, 오타. And you can also 수정하다 your 글, an article that you wrote. And you can also 수정하다 your 댓글, comment를 수정하다. So 수정하다 is used for changing, as in editing what you wrote correctly, to make it correct. 그래서 유튜브에 보시면요, if you look at the comment section on YouTube, usually the edited comment would have this mark on it. 수정됨. You can see 수정 is used, and in English it'll appear edited, right? Edited. In Korean, when you're editing or revising what you wrote, it's 수정. And 고치다 can be used for all kinds of fixing. You can fix your typo, you can 오타를 고치다, but you can also fix electronic devices. You can also 고치다 electronic devices. But 수정하다 cannot be used for electronic devices. So that's the difference, guys. That's the difference. 그 다음에, and for editing a photo, 사진, or 영상, a video, or 책, a book, or a published article, when you're editing these things, you don't say 수정하다, you say 편집하다. When you're editing a video, photo, a book, you say edit. And 수정하다 is for fixing something right. 수정하다 has that meaning, so it's different from 편집하다. And 편집하다 usually is used for editing video or editing photo, editing a book, or editing a published article. So if you want to say, if you're an editor, you can say 저는 편집자예요. 편집자, or 편집가 is also fine. 편집자, 편집가. 저는 편집자, 편집가예요. I'm the person that edits. So 편집자, 편집가. And if you want to say you're an editor-in-chief, you can say 편집장. 장 comes from the Chinese word that means head. So you're head of the 편집 editing department, so you're editor-in-chief. 편집장, 편집장. So for example, Anna Wintour is 편집장 of Vogue magazine. You can say Anna Wintour는 보그 잡지의 편집장이에요. She's the editor-in-chief. 이렇게 말할 수 있습니다. 편집하다. 그 다음에 I also brought another word that means to change, but it's different from 수정하다. It's 변경하다, guys. 변경하다. 변경하다 also means change, 바꾸다, but more like alter, to alter something. So you can alter a date. 날짜를 변경하다, right? You can change it to another alternative. 일정을 변경하다. You can change your schedule to another alternative. It can only be used for that. 변경하다. And 수정하다, as the 한자 tells, you fix something to make it right, not to alter something. So there are a lot of words that means change in Korean, as you can see. 그 다음에, okay, let's move on to the next one. 아이고. 삭제하다. 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 여러분 잠깐만요. Give me a moment, guys. I think I'm running out of breath a little bit. So I think I'll have to do a bit of inhale, exhale repetition. Let me do just 3 repetitions, guys. Bear with me. 오케이, 좋아요. 다음 거로 넘어갈게요. 삭제하다. 삭제하다 means to delete. delete란 뜻이에요. 삭제하다. 그래서 어디 갔지? 아, 여기 있다. So on YouTube, if I click on a comment, it'll say 고정. 고정 means fixing. And also 삭제. As you can see, there's a trash can here. So 삭제 means deletion, deleting. 그래서 삭제하다, to delete. And the passive form, you can change 하다 into 되다. So 삭제되다. So you can delete your 글, right? 글, article or post. So 글을 삭제하다. Or you can also delete your 댓글. 댓글 is a comment. 댓글을 삭제하다. Or 사진을 삭제하다. Or you can also delete your 계정. account를 삭제하다. 그래서 the passive form of each word would be 글이 삭제되다 for an article to get deleted. To get deleted. 댓글 for comment to get deleted. 삭제되다. 사진 for photo to get deleted. Or 계정. 계정이 삭제되다 for account to be deleted. 그렇게 말을 할 수가 있어요. 그 다음에 the antonym of 삭제하다 would be to upload or post something, right? So you can say 업로드하다. So obviously, upload comes from upload. And it's used very commonly. It's also the official Korean translation of to upload video on YouTube. It says 동영상 업로드. Right? So 동영상 or 영상, video, upload. 그렇게 돼요. 그다음에 if you want to use pure Korean word, you can also use 올리다. 올리다. 여러분 아까 do you guys remember what 오르다 meant? 오르다 기억나요? 오르다? 오르다? 오르다 mean it's an antonym of 떨어지다. 기억나요? antonym of 떨어지다. So 떨어지다 can mean for number to go down. 오르다 mean to number to go up, to rise, to increase, right? 맞아요. To increase 맞아요, 옐리님. 근데 올리다 is the causative form of 오르다. So 올리다 literally means to make something go up, to make something rise, to make something go up. So you make your post or your video or whatever on the internet. So you can also use 올리다, 올리다 to post, to upload. And 올리다 can also mean to raise, to upload. 그런 뜻이 됩니다. 그 다음에 그렇죠. 핑님이 파일이 삭제됐어요. 파일이 삭제. There's a typo here. 삭제 아니고 삭제됐어요. 좋아요. The file got deleted. Okay. 그 다음에 제 한국어 레벨이 올라가요. 말해도 돼요. 올라가요. 그냥 제 한국어 레벨이 올랐어요 라고 말하시면 돼요. 제 한국어 레벨이, 실력이 아이고 미안해요. 코멘트 좀 올리자. 레벨이 올랐어요 라고 하시면 돼요. It went up. 올랐어요. 이렇게 하시는 게 자연스러워요. For number, like level, it's more natural to use 오르다. 그 다음에 okay, next one. 사용하다. It means to use. 그래서 사용하다는 you can think of it as 쓰다's advanced version. So 쓰다 means to use, right? 사용하다 also means to use. So you can interchangeably use them and it will make no difference basically. 사용하다, 쓰다, they all mean to use. 쓰다의 advanced version. So this is not difficult to remember. And 사용하다's passive form would be 사용되다. So it can be used with all kinds of nouns that we use. We use a language. 언어를 사용하다, right? 언어를 쓰다, 언어를 사용하다. And we can also use our cell phone, 핸드폰을 쓰다, 핸드폰을 사용하다. 쓸 수 있겠죠. 그리고 there's another word that means to use, which is 이용하다. And it says to use something for benefit. But then again, when we use something, most of the time it's for our benefits, right? We use a blanket to keep ourselves warm, which is a benefit. We use money to buy food, and food is essential for survival, and survival is a benefit. So everything we use is for benefit. So when used in a good way, you can interchangeably use 사용하다 and 이용하다. But the difference is that 이용하다 can also be used for something negative. So for example, if you use a person, unless you employed a person, that usually implies something bad, right? So for example, 저 사람이, that person, that guy, use me, 저를 이용해서, this 어서 means by ing, by using me, 사기를 쳤어요. 사기치다 means to scam, to swindle. 이런 뜻이라서 that person used me to scam, to defraud. 이런 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 이용하다 can also be used for using something negatively. 그래서 사용하다 and 이용하다, their passive forms are 사용되다 and 이용되다. But when you use a person, that's something bad, right? You take advantage of a person. You exploit a person. So you can also say 이용당하다 for a person to be used. 당하다 is also 하다's passive form. And 당하다 can be used for something negative and when a subject is a person. And since to take advantage of someone, that someone is a person, if you want to say that someone was taken advantage of, you can use 이용당하다 passive form. 그래서 이용하다 has two passive form. 이용되다 when a subject is an inanimate thing, and 이용당하다 when a subject is a person. 그런 뜻이 됩니다. 그 다음에 이제 준비하다예요. 준비하다. 준비하다 means to prepare. And if you want to say for something is prepared, you can say 준비되다. 준비되다. So you can prepare 자료, materials. You can prepare for 수업, a class. You can prepare for 행사, an event. So these are the nouns that can go with 준비하다, and their passive version, respectively, would be 자료가 준비되다, 수업이 준비되다, 수업 is ready, 준비되다, and 행사가 준비되다, 행사가 준비되다. 저녁도 돼요. 저녁도 돼요, 핑님. 저녁이 준비되다. 저녁이 준비됐어요. 저녁이 준비됐어요. 이러면은 the dinner is ready. 그런 뜻도 되니까 저녁도 됩니다, 핑님. 저녁도 됩니다. 그래서 준비되다라고 쓸 수 있는데 여러분, usually when you want to say like, oh, I'm ready, it's all ready, like I'm ready to start, I'm ready to go out, we say 준비됐어요. 준비됐어요. 너 나갈 준비 됐어? Are you ready to go out? 나갈 준비 됐어? 네, yes, 준비됐어요. Yes, I'm ready. 이런 식으로 쓸 수 있어요. 그래서 준비됐어요. I'm ready. 이렇게 쓴다는 거 꼭 알아두세요. It's not 준비했어요. It's 준비됐어요. 그 다음에, alright, so we're moving on to the next passive verb or 하다 ending verb, which is 봤다. So you can change 하다 into 봤다 to make it into a passive form. And it's usually used when a subject is a person and when the verb is something positive or something neutral, or sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes it can also be used for something negative as well. And I'll give you the example words for each case. So let's look at number 14. 사랑하다. 사랑해. I love you. Obviously, it's something positive, right? 사랑하다, to love. So if you want to say a person is loved, if you want to say to be loved, you can use 사랑. You replace 하다 with 받다. 사랑 받다라고 할 수 있어요. To be loved. 사랑받다. 그래서 there's a really famous Korean song that goes like this. 당신은 사랑받기 위해. Sorry guys, my voice is cracking all over. Excuse my singing. 당신은 사랑받기 위해 태어난 사람. 이런 노래가 있어요. It's a very famous song. Almost like everyone, every Korean person will know this song. 당신은 사랑받기 위해. It's a very classic, one of those classic Korean songs that everybody knows. 당신은 사랑받기 위해 태어난 사람. 이렇게 되어 있는데요. 무슨 뜻일까요, 여러분? What would this mean? So 사람, a person. So 당신 means you in a very formal way. 당신, you are 사람. 당신은 사람인데 what kind of person? 태어나다 plus past tense modifier. So a person that was born, a person that's born, 사랑받기 위해. 기 위해 means in order to verb, right? You were born in order to love. So you were born to be loved, basically. You are the person that's born to be loved. 이런 뜻이에요. 그래서 사랑받다라고 쓸 수 있어요. 이 이야기는 부모님의 possessive particle, you can change e to 의, 부모님의 사랑을 받고 있어요. 부모님의 사랑을 받고 있어요. She is receiving a lot of love, a lot of parents' love, or you can also say 부모님한테 from from parents. 사랑받고 있어요. That would be a more natural sentence. But I really like this sentence in general. Like a baby should be loved by their parents. All babies should be loved by their parents. So this is a really heartwarming sentence. Thank you for writing such a good sentence, 탈리아님. 다음에 You're born to be loved. 그렇죠. You're born to be loved. 그런 뜻이에요, 토니 씨. 당신은 사랑받기 위해 태어난 사람. You're born to be loved. 라는 뜻입니다. 탈리아님, 감사합니다. 오케이, 그 다음에 환영하다. Let's move on to the next one. 환영하다 means to welcome. Welcome is something that's very positive, so you can change its passive form to 환영받다, which means to be welcomed. 환영하다. 그리고 여러분, 오해하다. 여러분 아까 오타 기억나요? Do you guys remember 오타를 수정하다? What 오타를 수정하다 means? So 수정하다 means to revise, to edit what you wrote, right? And 오타 means a typing error, so it's a typo. And I briefly mentioned that 오 comes from Chinese character that means wrong. So 오 here means wrong. 그 다음에 해, the same 해 as in 이해하다. 여러분 이해하다 알죠? 이해하다. 이해하다 means to understand, and this 해 comes from 한자 that means understand. So 오해하다 means to wrongly understand. 오해하다. 그래서 it means to misunderstand. And when you say you're misunderstood, it's a negative thing. So people might think, a lot of learners might think you have to write 오해당하다 for it to be a passive form, but it's actually 오해받다. 오해받다로 써요. Even if it's something negative, you can also use 받다 in some cases, or in some passive verbs. So 오해받다 or 오해를 받다, you can also divide them into a noun and passive form. So 오해를 받다 or 오해받다 둘 다 맞아요. 그래서 오해받다 to be misunderstood 하는 뜻이 있고요. 제 친구한테 오해받았어요. 그렇죠. You can use the particle 한테. You are misunderstood by someone. 잘하셨어요, 탈리아님. 좋아요. 그 다음에 초대하다, number 17. 초대하다도 it's a very positive thing, right? 그래서 you can say 받다 for to be invited. 초대받다. 초대받다. 그 다음에 추천하다도요. 추천하다도 is a positive thing. When you recommend something to someone, it's usually with good intention. So 추천하다, you can change it to a passive form by changing 하다 to 받다. 추천받다. 그래서 you can 노래를 추천하다 to someone, right? 노래, song. Or 책, you can also recommend someone a book. 북을 추천하다. 그리고 if you want to specify to someone, you can say 한테 or 에게. 에게. So if you say someone한테 노래를 추천하다, it would mean to recommend a song for or to someone. And the passive voice version would be someone한테, from someone. This someone is a different person now. It's someone that recommended you something. So someone한테 or 에게. Now that it's in passive voice, this 한테 and 에게 would mean from, by, right? someone한테 노래를 추천받았어요. 아이고. So I kept mentioning in my previous classes as well that passive verbs in and of itself cannot have an object in a sentence, but the exceptions are when the subject is me or a person. So in this sentence, 추천받다, the one that is recommended is I, right? I. 저기 때문에 저는. 그래서 you can have an object. In this case, you can have an object the sentence can have an object to specify what exactly was done, or sometimes on which body part it was done, right? In that case, a passive verb can have an object. So here, 추천받았어요. This verb can have an object since the subject is I. someone한테 노래를 추천받았어요. I was recommended a song by a person. 파티에 많은 사람들한테 초대받고 있어요. 뭐야? 그 다음에 비키 선생님의 레슨을 추천받아요. Taliani, thanks for providing a lot of good sentences. 그 다음에 you can also recommend 책 to other people. So 책을 추천하다. Passive form would be 책을 추천받다. Right? 책을 추천받다. If you want to say, not you are recommended a book, but a book is recommended. In that case, a book is a subject and a book is an inanimate thing. So in that case, you can say, 책이 추천되다. 책이 추천되다. A book is recommended. But usually when we say recommended or recommends passive form, it's usually I was recommended, someone was recommended. So 추천받다 is used way more often than 추천되다. 그 다음에 we're at the last section, guys. Last section. So 하다's passive form, the third passive form, 당하다. 당하다. And it's used when a subject is a person, when a subject of the sentence is a person, and when the verb is something negative, in negative situation. 그래서 예를 들어서, for example, 탈리아님, 비키 선생님과 함께 공부하는 것을 you can say 추천해요. 추천해요. If you're meaning to say I recommend, then you can say 추천해요 and not 추천하세요. Because 해요 ending, like 시다 verb, cannot be used when a subject is I. Because you cannot use honorific verbs when the subject is I. Because that would be like honoring yourself. And in Korean, at least, that sounds a little awkward in a sentence. So, 비키 선생님과 함께 공부하는 것을 추천해요. I recommend studying with Vicky. If that's what you meant, then that would be a good sentence. 좋아요. 이렇게, I really like that you're trying a lot of different sentences and that you're not afraid to make mistakes, because that's the only way you'll improve, right? You'll improve your sentence making. You need to have the gut and courage to keep trying. So, 탈리아님 잘하고 있어요. Okay. You meant ask people to. Okay, then you can say 추천하세요. Alright, 좋아요. 탈리아님, you're good. The sentence was good. Alright, so we're at the last part. 하다's passive verb, 당하다. So let's get right into our first 당하다 verb. So 거절하다 means to reject, to turn down, and this is obviously something negative. So to turn 거절하다 into a passive form, you can say 거절 당하다. You can change 하다 into 당하다. 당하다 means you got rejected. You were done rejection. So 거절 당하다. So 거절, you can turn down a 부탁. Usually 거절하다 is used with 부탁, and 부탁 means asking a favor, like requesting someone, asking someone to do something for me, please. 그런 것들이, those kinds of things are 부탁. And when you turn down their asking a favor, then you can say 거절하다. 부탁을 거절하다. 그리고 the antonym of 거절하다 would be 부탁을 들어주다. So 들어주다 is the combination of 듣다 to listen. And 주다, auxiliary verb or a helping verb. For an easier term, helping verb. So literally, it means to do someone a favor of listening. To do someone a favor of listening. So it can be used like that too. So 친구가 친구 얘기를 들어줬어요. I did the favor of listening to my friends. So it would mean like I did a kind thing by listening to them, by listening to what they wanted to share. Or I listened carefully. 그런 뜻이 될 수 있지만 when 들어주다 is used with 부탁, it means to grant a favor, to do what they ask me to do. 들어주다, to grant a favor. 부탁을 들어주다. 그 다음에 이것도 아까 배웠는데 do you guys remember this example sentence? 이거 기억나요? 저 사람이 that person 나를 이용하다 is a negative using 이용해서 by taking advantage of me 나를 이용해서 사기를 쳤어요. Do you guys remember this example sentence that I brought up when we were doing 이용하다 verb? 사기치다. We learned that 사기치다 here it means to defraud, to scam. 그래서 as you can see here, this is 사기 means fraud, and it should always be used with 치다 verb and not 하다 verb. 사기 치다. To hit a fraud. So it means to scam, to con, to swindle, to defraud. 그런 뜻이에요. 그 다음에 사기치다. 그래서 사기치다's passive form would be 사기 당하다. 사기 당하다. And if you want to say you scam a person, I mean, I don't think anyone will say you scam, anyone will want to say you scam a person, but in case there's a situation where you have to say it, you can use 에게 for 사람. So basically, you scam to a person. That's how we say it in Korean. So 사람에게 사기치다. You scam a person. And a passive version, I got scammed by someone, would be 사람에게 사기 당하다. 사람에게 사기 당하다. Right? 사람에게 사기 당하다. 그래서 this 에게 here would mean by, from, since it's in passive form. This 에게 would mean to, since it's in transitive form. And the next one is 무시하다. 여기서 무하면요, 없다란 뜻이에요. 무 means none, and 시 means your sight. So you consider something non-existent to your sight. 무시하다. So it means to ignore. So that's one meaning of 무시하다. And it also means to look down upon something, as in to look down upon like weaker people, like smaller people. I look down upon them. They're inferior to me. 이런 것들을 이제 look down on 이라고 하는데, 그럴 때도 you can also use 무시하다. So you can 무시하다 someone's 말, right? 말 means words, as in what someone said, someone's talk, someone's speech. So if you 말을 무시하다, it means 아이고 my cat is on my desk. Wow. 여기 들어가 있어. She's been sleeping on my sofa for I guess an hour, but I guess her sleep is done. I guess her sleep is over. 아무튼 다시. Hopefully she doesn't interrupt. 말을 무시하다 would mean to ignore what someone said. So pretend as if you don't hear them. 말을 무시하다. Or just deliberately ignore it. It could also be that. 말을 무시하다. 그리고 do you guys remember 씹다? 씹다 기억나요? 씹다 was one of the verb in our he list. The third passive verb class. 씹다. 씹다 means to chew, right? Chew. But we also learned that when it's used with 말을 씹다, it means to ignore. It can also be used for message, like 메시지를 씹다, or text message, 문자를 씹다. It means to ignore, not read a message. 그런 뜻이 있었죠. 그래서 말을 무시하다 and 말을 씹다 means the same thing. 말을 씹다. But I guess 말을 씹다 sounds a lot more casual than 말을 무시하다. So unless you're in like a super casual setting, I recommend you use 무시하다 instead of 씹다. 씹다 has a sort of a slangish, it's not a swear word, but it does have a harsh nuance to it, sort of. So 무시하다 is a safer choice, safer word choice. 그 다음에 if you say 사람을 무시하다, it can mean you can ignore a person, right? Pretend as if that person's not there, but usually it means to look down upon something, to consider them inferior to you. 사람을 무시하다. 그래서 나 무시하지 마. Hey, don't look down on me. Like don't underestimate me. 이런 뜻이에요. Don't underestimate me. 무시하지 마. 이런 뜻이 됩니다. 하지마, verb 지마 means don't, verb don't. Hey, don't. Asking someone or commanding someone, demanding someone that they don't verb. 그 다음에 our last one is 차별하다. 차별하다. 일단은 차별 means discrimination, guys. 차별은요, discrimination 이란 뜻이에요. discrimination. 그래서 if you say 차별하다, it means to do a discrimination, so it means to discriminate. 아이고. 나 여기 들어가 있어. To do a discrimination. So, 잠깐만요. Sorry, my cat just pressed something weird. 수진아 여기 내려가. Go down. 잠깐만요. 됐어요. 미안해요. My cat was interrupting me for a second. So 차별하다 means discrimination. 차별하다 means to discriminate. So the two most common discriminations would be 성차별 and 인종차별. 그래서 성 here means your sex, your gender. So 성차별하다 would be to discriminate someone sexually. So it would be like sexism, right? 성차별 would be sexism. And 인종차별. 여기서 인종 literally means in means a human. In means human. 종 means race. 그러면 what would human race mean? Race as in kind. Sorry, kind. Humankind. So it means race. race란 뜻이에요. 인종하면 race. Whether you're white, Asian, blah, 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 blah. There are many kinds of races around the world, right? So that kind of race, you can say 인종. And 인종차별 would be racism because it's racial discrimination. So 인종차별하다, to racially discriminate against. 그런 뜻이 됩니다. And obviously, 차별 is a very negative thing. So if you want to say you are discriminated against, you can change 하다 to 당하다. 인종차별 당하다. 차별당하다. I was discriminated against. 차별당했어요. I forgot to write it here. 무시하다's passive form would be 무시당하다. But I'm sure you guys already figured it out because these guys belong to 당하다 group. So if you want to say I was sexually discriminated against or I experienced sexism, you can say 성차별 당했어요. 성차별을 당하다. Since it's something negative, you can use 당하다. And when you want to say, I experienced racism. I went to another country and they're not very welcoming of me because I look very different. I experienced racism. 인종차별 당했어요. 인종차별 당했어요. 인종차별. I'll just try to write it in base form. 인종차별 당하다. To experience racism. 그러면 let's finish the rest of the test, guys. So starting from number 12. Actually, 잠깐만요. Let's do a quick review, very fast review, just to make sure you guys remember enough to get through the quizzes. So 취소하다, to cancel. 취소되다, to be right here. 취소되다, to cancel. 좋아요. 그 다음에 수정하다, to revise what you wrote, right? To make it correct. And 편집하다 is for editing 사진 or 영상, video, photo, or book. And 변경하다 means altering. 그 다음에 삭제하다 means to delete. 삭제되다, to be deleted. 사용하다, to use. 사용되다, to be used. And 이용하다 also means to be used. To use. It can use for positive usage or negative usage as well, right? 이용하다. 그 다음에 준비하다 means to prepare. 준비되다, to be prepared. 준비됐어요. I'm ready. 그 다음에 사랑하다, to love. 사랑받다, to be loved. 환영하다, to welcome. 환영받다, to receive welcoming, so to be welcomed. I forgot to tell you guys that 받다, this in and of itself is actually a verb, an independent verb that means to receive. I'm pretty sure you guys know this already if you're at an intermediate level, but just to make sure, 받다 means to receive. So 사랑받다 literally would mean you receive love, so to be loved. And 환영하다, 환영받다, welcome, to be welcomed. 오해하다, 오 means wrong, so wrongly understand, so misunderstand, and it's passive form. 오해받다, to be misunderstood. 초대하다, invite. 초대하다, to be invited. 추천하다, to recommend. 추천받다, to be recommended. 다음에 거절하다, to reject, to turn down. 거절, 당하다, and we learned that 당하다 can be used for negative things usually. And 들어주다 would be the antonym of 거절하다. So 부탁을 들어주다 would be to grant a favor, to do a favor. 그 다음에 사기치다 means to scam. 사기 당하다, to be scammed. 무시하다, to ignore or look down on. 무시당하다, to be ignored or to be looked down upon. 차별하다, to discriminate. 차별당하다, to be discriminated against. So here's a small tip for 차별, guys. So 차이 means difference. So this 차 has something to do with differentiating. 차. 그래서 차별. Discriminating happens when you differentiate someone from your own, right? So 차 usually means different. Okay, let's finish the quiz now. 일단은 볼게요. Let's start from number 12. 날씨 때문에 weather, 날씨. So not to be confused with 날짜, guys. 날짜 means weather. 날짜 means date, a date. And 날씨 means weather. 날씨 때문에, because of the weather, concert가, since it's a subject here, this is a place for passive verb or intransitive verb. 콘서트가 blank 해서 아쉬워요. 아쉬워요 means you feel sad or bad that something not very pleasant happened, or something that you wished didn't happen, happened. 그럴 때 쓰여요. 그렇죠? 취소돼서죠. So, 콘서트 cannot be deleted. You usually delete a post, a photo, but you can't delete a concert. So 삭제되다 is not the answer. You're recommended, you're invited, but that's not why you would feel sad, right? Because these two are something positive. 추천받다, recommended, 초대받다, to be invited. So they're not the reason why you feel sad. You're feeling sad because 콘서트가 그렇죠? 취소돼서. The concert is canceled. So 아쉬워요. I feel sad. 그 다음에 I take back what I said. Sorry. So, do you guys remember what verb is used for taking back what you said? 내가 한 말, the words that I said. 내가 한 말을 blank 할게. 미안해. Do you reject what you say? 거절하다. Do you 취소하다? Cancel what you say? Do you 사용하다? Use what you say? Do you 무시하다? Do you ignore what you say? What would you say for take back what you said? 그렇죠, 핑님. 취소할게. 미안해. 다음에 탈리안님이 아쉬워요랑 슬퍼요 차이? 슬퍼요는요, 그냥 you're sad. It's an emotion of sadness. Like you're about to cry. You're so sad. You lost someone. 그럴 때 쓰고요. 아쉬워요는요, you feel mildly disappointed at the situation. At the situation that you wish didn't happen, but has happened. 그럴 때 아쉬워요라고 써요. 아쉬워요. It's one of the words that's very hard to translate in English. 아무튼 그래서 I take back what you said. So when you say you take back words, you use 취소하다. So great job, everyone. 그 다음에 오타를 고쳐주세요. 오타를 고쳐주세요. Do you guys remember what 오타 means? 오타? 오 means wrong. 타 means typing. So 오타 means typo. 그래서 오타를 고쳐주세요. 고치다 means to fix. And 주세요 is used for asking a favor. Please fix 오타. Please fix a typo. And what verb would you use? 변경하다, 수정하다, or 편집하다. They all mean, they all seem to mean similar things, but they're not the same words, right? 그렇죠? 수정해 주세요예요. 수정해요. 오타를 수정해 주세요. 수정하다. We learned that it's 한자. Come on, let me open the note to write something. 그래서 수정하다 means to fix something to make it right? Usually what you wrote. So when it comes to 오타, typo, you can say 수정하다. 그리고 변경하다 also means to change, but 변경하다 is useful for altering, like altering a date, changing a date, your schedule. And 편집하다 means to edit, but it's for editing a video, a photo, not a typo. So for editing or revising a typo, you can say 수정해 주세요 or 고쳐주세요. 좋아요. 다음에 next one, number 15. 영상이 blank 서 더 이상, when you say 더 이상 and then negative verb, it means you can no longer do verb. So 더 이상, no longer, 볼 수 없어요. 볼 수 없어요 means I can't watch it. So I can't watch it no longer because 영상, video, is blank. The video is blank. So blank is the place for passive verb or intransitive verb. And should it be 영상이 삭제돼서, deleted, loved, 사랑받아서, 추천받아서, recommended, or 준비돼서, prepared. 그렇죠. You can't no longer watch it because it's deleted, right? This would be the verb that makes the most sense. 그래서 영상이 삭제돼서 더 이상 볼 수 없어요. I can no longer watch it. In English, it's I can no longer. But in Korean, it's I can't no longer. 더 이상 means no longer, but it has to be followed by a negative verb. 더 이상. Okay, 그 다음에 this is a bit of a tricky question, but I'm sure you guys can do it. You guys can write the correct answer if you understand the tense of the modifier. So, 한국에서 blank 언어는 한국어예요. So, 한국어 means Korean, and 한국어예요 would be is Korean. So, this person is trying to say 한국에서 used language. So, 언어 that is used in Korean is the Korean language. So, using 사용되다, how would you say that is used? That is used. 도널드님이 사용하는 언어는 이라고 했어요. Okay. 사용하다도 맞아요, 사실. 사용하다도 맞아요. Because there's no subject in this sentence, right? If you look at the Korean sentence alone without the English translation, you can also say 사용하는 because the removed subject might be people, right? 한국에서 한국 사람들이 사용하는 언어는 한국어예요. But what I intended was that you guys use 사용되다 here, as I specifically mentioned here. 사용되다. 그래서 사용되는이에요. 사용되는, 여러분. 사용되는입니다. 는. 뭐야. 이거 한국어로 안 바꿔놨다. 잠깐만요. 미안해요. 이거 한국어로 안 바꿔놔서 이상하게 인식하네요. It's recognizing wrong words because I didn't change the setting to Korean. But 사용되는이에요. 왜냐면요. It's used. It is used. Right? It is still being used. It is still being used. 그래서 사용되는이 돼요. 아이고. 잠깐만요. 그래서 여러분 passive modifier, present modifier is used for something that happens in general or is the case right now. And past tense modifiers are used for something that's the result of an action or something that was the case in the past. And here it's saying that the language that is used in Korea is the Korean language. So 사용되는 present tense modifier is the correct form. It's the one that sounds most natural. If you say 한국에서 사용된 언어는 한국어예요 using past tense modifier, then it would mean the language that was in the past used in Korea is 한국어. So that's slightly awkward, honestly. 그래서 사용되는이 맞아요. It still is being used in Korea, so you should be using present tense modifier. All right, 그 다음에 let's move on to the next one. How do you say, are you ready? Are you ready? Do you guys remember this? We learned this when we were covering 준비하다 verb. 준비하다. 준비하다. Are you ready? Do you say 준비했어요? 준비됐어요? 준비받았어요? or 준비당했어요? 그렇죠, 여러분. 준비됐어요가 정답이에요. 준비됐어요. Always remember, guys. 준비됐어요. 준비됐어요 means I'm ready. And if you ask 준비됐어요, it means are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? 그래서 항상 준비됐어요라고 써요. We always use passive verb for are you ready or I am ready. As in I am prepared. The things that I need to start something or the things that I need to go out are all prepared. So that's why we use passive form. They're all prepared. 준비됐어요. 준비됐어요. Alright. 그 다음에 우리는 모두 blank 위해 태어났어요. 태어나다 means born. Born, to be born. And 기 위해, verb 기 위해, in order to verb. So how do you say in order to be loved? To be loved. 사랑받기 위해. 그렇죠. 사랑받다. To be loved. 사랑하다's passive form is 사랑받다. How about this one? This one's pretty easy too. 한국에 있을 때, 한국에 있다 means to be in Korean, and 을 때 means when I was. So when I was in Korean, 많은 사람들, a lot of people, by a lot of people, 환영을 blank. So if you want to say welcome, how would you how would you change 환영하다 into its passive form? 환영을 당했어요? 환영을 됐어요? Or 환영을 받았어요? Which one would be the correct one? 그렇죠. 옐리님. 받았어요가 맞아요. 받았어요가 맞습니다. 받았어요. 환영받다. 환영하다's passive form. 환영받다. 다음에 let's try this one. Nobody, there's a typo here. 여기 오타가 있네요. 여기 apostrophe 빼야 되는데 likes, 그냥 likes예요. Nobody likes being misunderstood. So, blink는 거, nominalization of the verb, right? So, being misunderstood, being blink, 좋아하는 사람, a person that likes being blink, 아무도 없어요. There's no one that likes being misunderstood. 그렇죠. 그래서 for 오해, even if 오해하다 to misunderstand is something negative, when it's turned into a passive form, it's 오해받다, not 오해당하다. So this would be quote-unquote exception that you can remember. 오해하다 to misunderstand, 오해받다 to be misunderstood. 그 다음에 next one. 저는 지호의 생일 파티에 초대 blank지 못해서 속상해요. 속상해요 means you're upset, you're sad. 속상해요 can be a mixture of sadness, upset, disappointment. So yeah, it's a negative emotion. 도널드님, 오해당하다는 뜻이 뭐예요? 오해당하다라는 말은 없어요. 도널드님, 오해당하다 is not a word that is used. 오해받다라고 해요. If you say 오해당하다, people will understand what you mean, but it will sound unnatural. 그래서 오해받다가 맞고요. 일단은, so you are upset, 속상해요, because you weren't able to be invited to 지호's birthday party. 그래서 how do you change 초대하다 to invite into a passive form, guys? 초대 받지 못해서 그렇죠. 그래서 여기는 받이 맞아요. 받. 초대 받지 못해서. 그 다음에 요거 한번 가볼게요. Please recommend me a good song. Please recommend me a good song. James Termin님, welcome to the live class, James님. 그 다음에 I'm glad you liked the quiz and the class. But do you guys remember how to say, please recommend me a good song? So 좋은 노래 means a good song. And the word recommendation would be, 그렇죠. 추천이 맞아요. 추천하다 means to recommend. And 추천해 주세요 would be please recommend. 그래서 추천이 됩니다. 추천. 그 다음에 let's move on to the next one. 친구의 부탁을 들어줬어요. So 부탁, we learned that this is an asking a favor, right? So 친구의 부탁, 친구's asking a favor. So 친구 asked me a favor and 들어줬어요. So 들어줬어요 means I accepted it, right? I did her a favor. I did a favor. She asked me and I responded positively. I said yes. 들어줬어요. And what would be the opposite meaning, a word that has opposite meaning of to do a favor. It would be to reject, to turn down a favor, right? To turn down a favor. So, 친구의 부탁을, my friend's asking a favor, I blank. 뭐 했어요? 그렇죠, 여러분. 거절했어요. 그렇죠, 여러분 잘했어요. 거절했어요예요. 거절했어요. I rejected it. 거절하다 is to reject. 거절했어요. I rejected. 그 다음에 볼게요. 전화로, this 로 means with, using. Using a phone, by phone, with a phone. blank는 수법. 여기서 수법 means method. So method, that, so you can kind of guess that this 는 is a modifier, right? So a method where you blank with a phone. 보이스피싱이라고 부릅니다. So 부릅니다 means to call. And 뭐뭐라고 부릅니다. 이라고 부릅니다. To call it by a noun. 보이스피싱이라고 부릅니다. To call it by a voice phishing. So to call it voice phishing. So 전화로. So using a phone, defrauding, like scamming people. The method of scamming people over the phone. We call it voice phishing. 그러면, do you guys remember how to say to defraud? To scam someone, to con. So 사기 means fraud. And what verb should go with 사기 to mean defraud? 그렇죠. 사기 치다예요. 사기 doesn't go with 하다. 사기 치다가 맞아요. 그래서 사기 치는 수법을 voice phishing이라고 부릅니다. 이렇게 됩니다. 오케이. 그 다음에 blank 볼게요. 25번 볼게요. Let's move on to number 25. 약한 사람들. 그러니까 if you say someone is 약하다, it means they're weak. So 약한 사람들, weak people를 blank 하는 사람들과 친해지고 싶지 않아요. So with people that does blank, 약한 사람들, weak people, 친해지고 싶지 않아요. 친해지다 하면요. 친해지다 means to be close with someone, to be intimate, to become friends with someone. 친해지다. And it says here, 고 싶지 않아요. You don't want to. You don't want to be friends with someone that blanks weak people. So this verb should be something negative, right? So 사랑 is definitely a positive thing, right? So you would definitely want to be close around these people. So 사랑 doesn't fit this context. Love doesn't fit this context. Invitation, invite doesn't fit this context either. 환영하다. Welcome is also a positive thing. The only negative thing in these choices is 무시. 그렇죠. 무시하다. 무시 means to ignore, but it also means to look down upon when it's used for people. So 약한 사람들을 무시하는 사람들 means people who look down upon weaker people, who consider them inferior. 친해지고 싶지 않아요. I don't want to be close to them. 그렇게 쓸 수 있습니다. 그 다음에 안셀모님, thank you for the super sticker. Frowning face. Why are you frowning? 안셀모님, 왜 frown이에요? 어려워요? Do you find it difficult? Thanks for the super stickers. Anyways, 그 다음에 next one. What is the synonym? This time it's synonym of the underlined word. 지수가 제 말을 씹었어요. 씹다 means to chew, right? To chew. And when it's used with 말, it means words. So, 지수가 제 말을 씹었어요 would mean to chew one's words, to ignore one's words. So, what is the antonym of ignore? 그렇죠. 무시했어요가 정답이에요. 무시했어요. 일단 차별했어요 means discriminated against. discriminated, 거절하다, rejected, turned down. 무시하다, to ignore. 그래서 무시하다가 정답이 됩니다. 말을 무시하다, 말을 씹다, 둘 다 똑같은 뜻이에요. They mean the same thing. Okay, let's see if you guys remember racism. Race blank 당해본 적 있어? 당해본 적 있어? So to break down 당해본 적 있어? If you say so 당하다, the combination of 당하다 verb, which is a passive version of something negative, right? And 보다 and 적 있다. 당해본 적 있어 is a combination of these three. And 적 있다 indicates your past experience. I have tried that. I have done that. And you can consider 보다 as a part of this expression. So 보다 is a helping verb. It's an auxiliary verb that means a lot of things. It has a lot of functions, a lot of different functions. But here, it doesn't mean something special. So you can just ignore it. You can just consider it a part of 적 있다. Because this grammar point, 적 있다, is very commonly combined with 보다. So you can say 당한 적 있어? 당한 적 있어? Without 보다. 당한 적 있어? But 당해보다 plus 적 있어 is also fine. Doesn't make any difference. Very little difference. Almost no difference in meaning. And 당하다, we learned that it's a passive form for something negative. 그래서 당해본 적 있어? It's like, have you ever been 당하다? Have you ever been done? Blank. So blank should be racism. 그렇죠, 여러분? 인종차별이 정답입니다. 인종차별. 인종차별. 인종 means literally means humankind. So race. 그래서 인종차별이 됩니다. 아이고, 인종차별. 써볼까? Let's see if my iPad recognizes Korean. Oh, there you go. But probably my handwriting was terrible. It says 인종차별. I wrote 인종. There you go. 인종차별. Okay, there you go. Okay, 그래서 let's see the result. Okay, we finished it in 1 hour and 26 minutes, and we got everything correct. Okay, so you can find the same quiz on my website on intermediate course, on passive verb vocabs, 아워지다, 되다, 봤다, this page. You can check the same quiz on this page, guys. So that would be a good review to retake the quiz. And also, guys, just like I mentioned in one of my previous classes, if you can take the quiz without being signed in and check all the answers too. But if you take the quizzes while signed in to my website, you can check all the results of your Quizlet saved on your profile page. So here, if you go to view my quiz results page, you can see all the details, including your correct answer and what you answered. So you don't have to go to each different page to check the right answer again and again. You can just stay on your profile page. So that's a big benefit to your convenience. 다음에 와 벌써 2시간이 지났어요. 그러네요. 아직 2시간. 그러네. 지금 벌써 9시네. 와우. 오케이, 그러네요. It didn't feel very long, to be honest. 네, 오늘은 좀 괜찮았어요. I'm not feeling so tired. Weird. That's very weird. Because usually I feel very tired after 2 hours. So 2 hours is my limit. 근데 아직 그렇게 오늘은 괜찮네요. 여러분, 그러면요. So at the beginning of this class, I mentioned that I made a Quizlet set, right? Based on the words that we covered today. 이거 지금 해볼까요, 여러분? Do you guys prefer it if we do it in class, or maybe I'll just provide the link and you guys do it by your own? Which one do you prefer, guys? Let's take a pause. 여러분, 같이 할까요? Let's do it together. Let's do Quizlet together. Or do you want to do it by your own? Oh, 핑림님, thank you for another super sticker. 3 hearts of differing sizes. Oh, okay. That's the emoji you used. Thank you. Thank you for the gift and sending the heart, 핑님. 그 다음에 what do you guys think? 토니 씨, that's because time flies when you're having fun. Word. 맞아요. Preach. 맞아요. I 100% agree 해요. 100% agree with what you said. 시간이 진짜 빨리 갔어요. 시간이 진짜 빨리 갔는데 여러분 어떤 것 같아요? What do you guys think? Quizlet said 그냥 Crystal님, you prefer... Oh, yeah, I'll be sending the link for sure. But do you guys prefer if we do it together? 샬루님 says 함께 해요. 함께 하세요. Let's do it together. 여러분 어떻게 생각해요? Doing the quiz in class helps to learn why the answer is what it is. 좋아요. I'm happy you find the quiz helpful. 그러면요, 여러분, I see that you guys are... Tony C says, if you're up to it, Miss Vicky, I'm up to it as well. 좀 고민되네요. I'm thinking. I'm still thinking. Let's do it. It's a Quizlet. It's not a Quizlet. It's not a quiz. You guys know this, right? So it's gonna take, I believe, 15 minutes max. So let's do it together. 같이 해요, 그냥. 같이 해요. 같이 할까요? Billiana님 says together, but maybe next time. You know what? No, let's do it together. 얼른 빨리 합시다. 빠르게. Let's do a very, very, very quick review, guys. 진짜 빠르게 가볼게요. So let's do the multiple choice only. Multiple choice. 되었어. And that'll make it faster. All right. Let's start. How do you say? 잠깐만요. Let me place it a bit more up. 이게 자꾸 끊기네. 잠깐만요, 여러분. 기다려보세요. Please wait. 아니다. 여러분, 아니에요. I guess it's a sign. It's telling me not to continue, maybe. Because as you can see, this is the max screen I can share. I try to zoom it in, but then it doesn't work. You know, you can't see the fourth choice, right? So I'll just finish the class here, guys, and I'll just share the Quizlet link in the description box, so you guys can do it on your own, okay? 같이 하면 재밌을 거예요. 함께 하면 재밌을 거예요. 잠깐만요. Why am I so indecisive? Because it wasn't part of the plan. Oh my god. 잠깐만요, 여러분. 그러면 let me try it on my computer. Since it doesn't work on my iPad, let me try it again on my laptop, computer. 여긴 되겠다. 여긴 될 것 같은데. 잠깐만요. 그러면 let me disconnect my iPad and no camera source. 여러분 혹시 Quizlet 보여요? Do you guys see the Quizlet screen? 안 보이죠? 잠깐만요. 으아. 잠깐만요. Let me try to fix it, guys. Sorry about this. This wasn't part of my plan, so it's a little messy at the end. Sorry, guys. Show scenes window. Why isn't it working? Screen. Oh, there you go. Yay. Okay. 됐어요. 여러분 보이시죠, 이제? 이제 보일 거예요. Wow, that was tough. 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 but I'm glad it's working now. So let's do a quick study mode. I'm sure it's gonna take less than 15 seconds. 잠깐만요. 옵션에서 주간 복수 정답. Let's only do multiple choice. And let's start. Okay, what is 날짜를 정하다, guys? 날짜를 정하다. What does it mean? What does it mean? 날짜를 정하다. 무슨 뜻일까요? 그렇죠. 날짜를 정하다. To set a date. 날짜를 정하다. 그렇죠. 2번이에요. 2번. Let's quickly do it. 가격을 정하다. 가격을 정하다. It means to set what? Set 가격. 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 To set. Quickly, guys, quickly. I'm rushing you guys because I wanted it to be really quick. 그렇죠. Price. Set a price. 3번. 좋아요. Next one. 규칙을 정하다. 규칙. What is 규칙, guys? 규칙. 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 So, 정하다 obviously means to set, but what is 규칙? So rule. 그렇죠. So it's number 4. To set a rule. To make rules. 규칙을 정하다. 좋아요. How about 마음을 정하다. 마음을 정하다. 마음 means mind. So you set your mind. 마음을 정하다. What are you doing when you're 마음을 정하다? 마음을 정하다. 그렇죠. 2번 make up one's mind. 마음을 정하다. 마음을 정하다. 그 다음에 정해지다. It's 정하다 plus 아어치다. So it's 정하다's passive form. So it's 정해지다, 정해지다, 정해지다. It's to be decided. 그렇죠. To be decided, set, settled, 정해지다. Alright, moving on to the transitive verb. 불을 켜다. So 켜다 means to turn on. When you say 불을 켜다, what do you turn on? 불을 켜다. 불을 켜다. 불. 불 means fire and it can also mean light. So it means to turn on the light. It can sometimes mean to light a fire. Next one. What about 불을 끄다? 끄다는 뭘까요, 여러분? 끄다. 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 켜다's antonym. So it's turn off. 그렇죠. Turn off the light. 좋아요. 그 다음에 next one. 빰. 전원을 켜다. How about 전원을 켜다? So we know 켜다 is turning on. So what is 전원? 전원. 전원. 그렇죠. Turn on power. 전원을 켜다. 켜다. 그래서 turn on the power가 됩니다. Turn on the power. To turn on a device. The power. 그런 뜻이 되고요. 그 다음에 전원을 끄다. Obviously, it's to switch off, turn off the power. So I'll just quickly go over to the next one. 켜지다. 켜지다 would be 켜다 plus 아어지다. So 켜다's passive form. So it means 켜지다 means to be turned on이죠. 그렇죠. To be turned on. 좋아요. 다음에 꺼지다. How about 꺼지다, guys? 끄다 plus 아어지다. So it's 그렇죠. To be turned off가 됩니다. To be turned off. 좋습니다. 꺼지다. 그 다음에 창문을 깨다. 깨다 means to break something. Usually something that breaks into pieces. So 창문을 깨다. If you 깨다 창문, what does it mean? To break a window. 그렇죠, 여러분? 4번이죠? 잘하고 있어요. 다음에 약속을 깨다. How about 약속을 깨다? 약속 means promise. It can also mean a casual plan that you have with your friends, like a casual meetup. So it means to break a promise, plan. 좋아요. 3번. 다음에 깨지다 with obviously. Now you guys know. You have to know this if you finish this class, right? If you don't know what 깨지다 is, it means you're new to this class or you haven't been paying attention throughout the class. So I'm sure everyone knows what 깨지다 is. Sure, it's passive form of 깨다, to be broken, cracked, smashed. 좋아요. 1번. 그 다음에 bam, 꿈을 이루다. 꿈을 이루다. It's a very beautiful word. 꿈을 이루다. That I wish everyone does. 꿈을 이루다. 꿈 means dream. And 이루다 means to realize, to make it true. So to realize one's dream. 그렇죠. 꿈을 이루다. How about 소원이 이루어지다. It's 이루다 plus 아어지다. So it's obviously 이루다's passive form. So 소원이 이루어지다 would mean for wish to come true. 그렇죠. Wish is granted. 소원이 이루어지다. 그 다음에 next one. 약속을 지키다. 약속을 지키다. 약속을 지키다. What do you do when you 약속을 지키다? 약속을 지키다. You 지키다 means to observe, to abide by. When it's used with a promise, it means to keep. So it means to keep a promise, not break. How about 법을 지키다? 법을 지키다. 법 means law. So abide by the law. To abide by the law가 되고요. 그 다음에 빗방울이 떨어지다. 빗방울이 떨어지다. What would this mean? 빗방울이 떨어지다. 빗방울. 비 means rain. 방울 means drop. So raindrop falls. Right? 1번 좋아요. 1번. Raindrop falls. 그 다음에 성적이 떨어지다. 성적 means your grade. 성적 means your grade. So your grades are falling. 성적이 떨어지다. Your grades are falling. 성적이 떨어지다. 다음에 면접에 떨어지다. When you say like exam에 떨어지다, it would mean you didn't pass the test because you fell on that test. So it means you failed. And 면접 means a face-to-face exam. So it's an interview to fail an exam. 그 다음에 시험에 붙다. How about 시험에 붙다, guys? What does it mean? 시험에 붙다. 시험에 붙다. It means to stick to get attached to an exam. So it's to pass an exam. 그렇죠. test. 좋아요. 다음에 how about 늘다? When you say your 한국어가 늘다. Your 한국어가 늘다. What would it mean? Does it mean to increase or decrease? 그렇죠. 늘다 is a positive transitive verb that means to increase. Intransitive verb that means to increase, to improve. How about 주다? 주다 is the antonym of the previous word 늘다. So obviously this one is to decrease. 그렇죠. Used for quantity or scale, to decrease. 다음에 걷다가 while walking 넘어지다. If you 넘어지다, what happens to you? 넘어지다. 그렇죠. 토니 씨 되게 빠르네요. 옐리 님도 빠르시고 여러분 다 잘하고 계세요. To trip while walking, to trip over. How about 풍선이 터지다. 여러분 제가 I told you to specifically pronounce it like this. 터지다. And it means to burst. So 풍선이 터지다 would mean for a balloon to pop. For a balloon to pop. 풍선이 터지다. 그 다음에 웃음이 터지다. How about 웃음? 웃음 means laughter. My voice starts cracking up. Oops. I'm okay. 웃음이 터지다. To burst out laughing. 그렇죠. To burst out laughing. 여러분 너무 잘하고 있어요. Burst out laughing. How about 배가 터지다? Your tummy explodes. Your tummy explodes. You are extremely full. You're extremely full. So it means you feel bloated. You're extremely full. 그 다음에 예약이 취소되다. 예약 means reservation. 취소되다, to be cancelled. 탈리아님 says 따뜻하게 물을 마시세요. 네, 지금 마시고 있어요. 감사합니다. 그래서 reservation to be cancelled 좋아요. 그 다음에 말을 취소하다. If you 취소하다 your 말, what do you do? What do you cancel? 그쵸? You take back what you said. 그렇죠? 2번. 다음에 오타. Everybody makes it. What is 오타, guys? 오타. Wrong typing, so typo. When you say 오타를 수정하다, what do you do with your 오타? 그렇죠. To revise a typo예요. To typo. 그 다음에 댓글을 수정하다. How about 댓글? What does 댓글 mean? 댓글. 그렇죠. It means to edit a comment. To 수정하다, a comment. 그 다음에 영상을 편집하다. When you're editing a video, we'll learn that you use the verb 편집하다. What do you do when you're 영상을 편집하다? 영상 편집하다. 그렇죠. Edit a video입니다. Edit a video. 그 다음에 날짜를 변경하다. 변경하다 means to change as in to alter. To change it to another alternative. So, 날짜 means date. And when you 날짜를 변경하다, what do you do with it? 그렇죠. You change dates. You don't set a date. Set a date is 날짜를 정하다. And 날짜를 바꾸다 or 날짜를 변경하다 is to change dates. 일정이 변경되다. 일정이 변경되다. 일정 means your schedule. So, the answer is pretty obvious here. 일정이 변경되다. 그렇죠. For schedule to be changed. 좋아요. 오케이. 계정을 삭제하다. If you 삭제하다, delete your 계정. 계정 means account. What do you do with it? 계정을 삭제하다. 그렇죠. 삭제하다 means to delete. So you delete your account. How about 사진이 삭제되다? This time, it's used in its passive form. 사진이 삭제되다. What happens when 사진이 삭제되다? 그렇죠. It means for a photo to be deleted. 좋아요. 그 다음에 how about 준비됐어요. 나갈 준비 됐어요. What does it mean, guys? 그렇죠. 준비됐어요 is used when you want to say I'm ready. 준비됐어요. 다음에 it's pretty obvious. Quizlet is not doing a good job in providing, good choices to make it more confusing. But the answer is obvious. You can choose the one that has Korean in it. But still, it's quite an important word to note. 쓰다, 사용하다, they all mean to use. 그 다음에 사랑받다. 사랑받다. What does it mean? It literally means to receive love, and it's a passive form of to love, so to be loved. How about 오해받다? We don't say 오해당하다. That's an unnatural word to say. You say 오해받다 for what? 그렇죠. 오해받다. Even if it's something negative, we don't say 오해당하다. We say 오해받다. And this would be one of the exceptions. How about 초대받다? 초대받다. What does it mean when you're 초대받다? 그렇죠. You are invited. 초대받다. 좋아요. 그 다음에 next one. 노래를 추천받다. 추천하다's passive form, right? 추천받다. What does it mean when you're 노래를 추천받다? 그쵸? To be recommended a song. 그 다음에 how about 부탁을 거절하다. 그렇죠. 거절하다 means to reject. So this 절 comes from a Chinese character that means to cut. So you cut something off. you cut someone off, so you're rejected. Reject a favor. How about 거절당하다? So 거절하다's passive form. 거절당하다. What would this mean? 거절당하다. 거절당하다. 그렇죠. 요거는 to be rejected, turned down. 이 되겠습니다. 그 다음에 someone에게 or 한테 사기치다. 사기치다. 저 사람이 날 이용해서 사기쳤어. 사기치다. It's something very negative. So the tricky choices would be these two. So 사기치다. Do you guys think this is a transitive verb or passive verb? 사기치다. 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 Not 사기당하다. 여러분 1번 아니에요? It's not number 1. It's number 3, guys. 사기치다 means to scam. It's a transitive verb, guys. Transitive verb, so it's number 3, guys. Number 3. 그러면 이건 어때요? someone에게 사기당하다. So 사기치다 means to scam someone. 사기당하다 would mean, this time, this would mean, 그렇죠. To be scammed by someone. Scammed by someone. 그 다음에 how about 무시하다. 무시하다. Literally, if you break down 한자, it means none in your sight. So you consider something or someone outside of your sight. So you ignore something. Since it's 하다 ending verb, it's a transitive verb. So it's number 3. To ignore, to look down upon. How about 무시당하다? Now it's a passive verb. 무시당하다. What does it mean, guys? 무시당하다. 그렇죠. 이제는 요건 passive verb이니까 to be looked down on, ignored가 됩니다. We're almost there. We're almost at the end. Woohoo! 잘하고 있어요. 차별하다. 차별하다. What does 차별하다 mean? 차별하다. It's a transitive verb. 그렇죠. 2번이죠. To discriminate someone. To discriminate against someone. 차별하다. How about 차별당하다. 차별당하다. This is obviously a passive form. So it should be to be discriminated against. It's the passive form of 차별하다. 다음에 how about 인종차별. 인 means person, 종 means kind. So 인종 means race. So racial discrimination. So it's 그렇죠. 2번 racism이 됩니다. 다음에 how about 성차별. 성 means gender, sex. So 성차별 would be sexual 차별, discrimination. So it should be number 2. 이것도 2번이 됩니다. 와! 다 했습니다. 여러분 축하합니다. 모두 학습했습니다. 오케이. 좋아요. 잘했어요, 여러분. Okay, so I'm really gonna end the class. 정말 잘했어요. 여러분, this is a perfect screen to end the class with. 축하합니다. 모두 학습했습니다. You learned everything. Congratulations. This is a really encouraging message. Perfect message to end this class with. And thank you so much, guys, for joining this class and for your active participation. I will put all the links, all the related links to the Quizlet and the quiz and the files on my website and provide the link in the comment section and in the description box. 오케이, 좋아요. 다음에 탈리아님이 실수 2개 했어요. 나쁘지 않죠? 전혀 나쁘지 않아요. Not bad at all. 전혀 나쁘지 않아요. 그리고 또 Thank you, Miss Vicky. 여러분 축하합니다. 여러분 너무 감사합니다. 오케이, 여러분 저도 너무 감사해요. Thank you so much for coming to class. 진짜 너무 감사합니다. 선생님과 여러분들 진짜 고생하셨어요. 맞아요, 여러분. 배우는 것도 진짜 고생이에요. Like I am learning Chinese these days. I started learning Chinese again, and it's so hard to go through like 2 hours class just by one sitting. And it's so amazing that you guys make it all the way through the end of this lesson. You guys sit through it and enjoy the class with me. That's something that I feel extremely grateful for, and you guys deserve a clap for that. It's not something that anyone can do, so thank you so much. 여러분 너무 감사합니다. 오케이. 그러면 여러분 이제 I will end the class here. I will finish the class here. And hopefully, I wish to do another series like this where we have continuous live classes every week. And hopefully, I could do that with causative verbs in the future. All right, so I will end the class here. And thank you guys so much for joining this class. And 이제 진짜로 끌게요, 여러분. 이제 finish 버튼 누를게요. Once again, 축하합니다. 축하해요. Congratulations for finishing all the series, all the passive verb series. And I have to say goodbye. And I'll see you in my future videos and in my future live classes. Okay. Thank you, Billy and Anin. Thank you. I'm grateful to have students like you guys too. Thank you. Alright. 좋은 주말 보내세요. 네, 좋은 주말 보내세요, 여러분. 안녕. I really turned this off. I'm gonna press finish now. Bye bye.